فقال رجل أو فأتاه رجل فقال ما الإيمان is the permissibility and the recommendation of asking the learned person. And it's also permissible to ask a question even if you know the answer, for the purpose of others finding out. For the purpose of what? Others to know, but with sincerity. You have to have the proper intention. Not ask a question to break someone's back, to show somebody up, okay, to embarrass someone. But only ask a question either if you want to know or you know that someone in the crowd needs to know and they're too shy to ask. Everybody clear on this? Inshallah. The next benefit we get from this hadith is the obligation of believing in Allah, the obligation of believing in the malaika, the angels, the last day, Allah's messengers, and belief in resurrection. These are all basics of Islam that every single Muslim has to know about. Every single Muslim must know about this, the basics of Islam. The next benefit we take from this hadith is a proof that you must pray in al-Islam. And no one can come along and say, I don't have to pray. As some people do, I don't have to pray. Allah knows what's in my heart. I make dhikr. La. You must make physical prayer in the deen. And the reason why you pray, once again, is not because of your parents. It's not because of your father or your mother. It's not because of your husband or your wife. But you only pray for Allah. He's the one who told you to get up out of your sleep to pray. Why do you give zakat? For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do you fast? Why is Islam is hard? I'm thirsty. I'm tired. Why can't we have fun? This is too difficult, so on and so forth. Allah made the religion as it is. And this is very important for the Muslim youth to understand. Do not practice Islam just because of your parents. Because a day will come in which your parents will not be around. Your parents won't be there to tell you what to do. You worship Allah because you love Allah. It's very important. Next benefit we get from this hadith is the impermissibility of making shirk. And to worship Allah, just you worship Allah is insufficient. But you have to worship Allah and not make any shirk with Him. The hadith clearly says, "An ta'bud Allah wa la tushrika bihi." Because there are people who worship God, but they make shirk with Him. They worship God and they worship a messenger and a prophet. They worship Allah and they worship with Him a sheikh or a scholar. They fear that sheikh. They hope for that sheikh. They offer things to that sheikh as if they do for Allah, and that's shirk. So the point is not just to worship Allah, but to worship Allah what? Alone, without any partner. Next benefit we give from this hadith is the permissibility or the obligation of paying the zakat, and also fasting the month of Ramadan. The next benefit we take from this hadith is that Islam has levels. Islam is not just on one level. There's stations in the deen, and from those levels is al-ihsan, is the highest level of al-Islam. As we've explained before, brothers and sisters, the word ihsan has different meanings. We explained this in Masjid al-Haq in Baltimore last weekend. The word ihsan has different meanings. Sometimes the word ihsan means perfection. Sometimes it means mercy and kindness. And sometimes it means the highest part about Islam. To worship Allah as though you see Him. And you cannot see Allah in this worldly life, but know for sure that Allah sees you. In other words, worship Allah based off of love. That you want Allah. You want Allah's reward. If you can't get to that level, then at least have what? Fear of Allah. And know that there is a punishment, there's a hellfire. If you can't strive for Jannah, then at least run from the hellfire. Everybody understand this? Next benefit we get from this hadith is that a learned person, if he doesn't know something, he should refrain from speaking about it. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know. That is a virtue of the island. It's not a shortcoming, that's a virtue. To say, Allah knows best, I don't know. Next benefit we get from this hadith is the permissibility for a learned man to say or to speak about something that he does know about, even if it's partial or part of something that he doesn't know about. Jibreel alayhi salam, he asked him, when was the hour? When will the hour be established? The Prophet said, I don't know. He then went on to tell him about something, what? That he did know, a piece of what he knew. So it's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know the specific answer, but I know the general answer. I don't know this person in general, but I've heard this and I've heard that, etc. Next benefit we get from this hadith is that there will be signs of the last day. And from the signs of the last day is when things change. When the irregular becomes normal. The paranormal becomes normal. In other words, for these things to totally switch, We have camel herders, poor, uneducated, uncouth Bedouin camel herders. They will compete in throwing up large establishments, buildings, competing with each other. Not just making large buildings, but see who can get the tallest building. Or a woman who's a slave, she gives birth to her master. And this hadith is interpreted to mean children will become extremely disrespectful to their parents. Whereas the child is now the master of the parent. This is one interpretation of this hadith, is that there will be a young child who will be so raunchy, so disrespectful to his or her parents, as if he's in charge. It's one of the interpretations of that part of the hadith. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he concluded this by explaining that none but Allah knows these things, these 5 major signs, or the 5 keys of the unseen. So we read it from this part of the hadith, is that Allah knows the unseen, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And anyone who claims to know the unseen is no longer a Muslim. He is apostated from the deen. Khairan, inshallah. And another benefit we take from this hadith is that the angels can take on different forms. Sometimes some angels can take on the form of men. Jibreel alayhi salam came in the form of a man to teach the companions. And the last benefit we take from this hadith is from the sunnah. It is from the sunnah to teach the people their religion. Jibreel alayhi salam, he did not go to the companions to teach them about medicine, to teach them about astronomy, to teach them about agriculture and husbandry of animals. He came to teach them what? The deen. All of these things are permissible to learn and study and to teach. We need them. If it wasn't for science and engineering and physics and all of biology, we wouldn't be sitting in this room today. There would be no electricity. Okay, we wouldn't have these recording devices. These are important parts of our daily lives. However, that does not tarnish the teaching of the deen, as many Muslims do, unfortunately. Why you want to go overseas and study? Why you want to learn the Quran? People not say this? Why you want to be the imam? Go to college, do this. How you want to take care of your family? The people don't need this. Oh, you don't need to learn this. Why? What do you want to be an imam of a masjid for? Why you want to go study overseas? Go be a lawyer, go be this, go be that. That's very sad. The best of Allah's creation was who? The prophets and the angels. What did they do for a living? What did they do? What was the Prophet ﷺ doing? He was sitting out for the people to teach them all, Sheikh Mahdi. About what? About the deen. That's the Prophet, the human being, the angel, the best from the best of Allah's creations. He came to teach people what? The deen. So, any Muslim who says something like that, there lies no doubt, is something that is seriously wrong with his or her Islam. Seriously wrong. I want my son to be a lawyer. There's nothing wrong with that, for example. Nothing wrong with that. But for me to push him away from the religion and to scorn the deen and disdain the deen, it's not important. It's nothing special. You shouldn't do it. Something is seriously wrong. It's not obligatory that your son be a scholar. It's not obligatory mandatory that your daughter be a student of knowledge or a scholar of hadith. It's not mandatory. But you hate it. And the only thing that means something to you is worldly materialism. A brother comes, he wants your daughter's hands in marriage. He's religious, he's pious, he is knowledgeable, he comes from a good family, he's handsome, strong, healthy. No, we don't want him to marry our daughter. Why not? He doesn't have any money. He doesn't go to college. He doesn't study this. He's not involved in the dunya. Wallahi, that's very sad. And it goes to show you the low state of the Muslims today. Whereas Allah has given them the best example, Muhammad and Jibreel, and they say, no, we want something else. Am I making this up? Honestly, is this an exaggeration? It's very unfortunate. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help the Muslims. Ameen. Until the next class, from my wal-Marjan, everybody get the book, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.